This is Bumper to Bumper, the car show. Drive in anxious and cruise out confident. With the best automotive information for your vehicle. And now your hosts, Matt Allen and Dave Riccio.
Well, good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. Welcome to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio, here along with Matt Allen, and together we are your KTAR car guys, heard here every Saturday from 11 to noon. At Bumper to Bumper Radio, we are helping you, the motoring public, have a better overall car experience. If you've got car questions, we have your answers. So we encourage you to give us a call at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. And today on the Bumper to Bumper Roadmap, we're going to be taking an email or two from bumpertobumperradio.com. Open phones, we'll be taking your text. And avoiding breakdown in the new year. It's that new, we're thinking about, what do we got to do this year? What do we got to think about? And car expense is right up there with home expense. You got to be planning for some of it, or maybe you can plan for, hey, you don't need any of it yet. I mean, there's some years where there's lighter expenses than others. Where does avoiding breakdown start, Matt?
Well,
Rookie.
I know. It starts with me turning on my mic, huh? Wow. I'm over here lollygagging around, listening to you yakking, Dave, and thinking about this. But, well, I guess you don't know what you don't know. That's pretty obvious. So to start with a plan, we need to know what the status of our car is. It might be perfectly good. It might be a big old pile of junk that you need to get rid of. But I don't think you can have a plan until you've got a baseline established with your car. We want to know everything. I would encourage you, depending on where your car is in the life cycle, also depends on how deep you might need to have your car inspected. But I would start the new year, the next time you need a service, or maybe don't wait till you need an oil change or that service, and go in and ask your shop for what we call in my shop at Virginia Auto Service a comprehensive vehicle inspection.
That's not a quick through drive-through lane kind of quick lube type thing. Is that
this is something that takes at least 1 hour to do for a good technician that's properly taking notes to go through the car. This is not your courtesy check. This is not the free one that you get when you get your oil change done, or you're at the tire shop and they're going to check your air and whatever. We gave you a quick safety inspection. I'm talking comprehensive.
Look at everything.
I can make it up. I call it my gazillion point checklist. I always like to see people have a 39-point inspection.
Well, I do see 39-point inspection and 45-point inspections, and I hear them say, we check everything. And I have no idea what everything is, so I printed up one of your lists, your checklist that you use in your shop. And some of the things that are on it are going to be, wiper blades, horns, backup lights, brake lights, headlights. I mean, you got a whole section just on lights.
Seat belts, door handles. I mean, you talk about the little annoying things that make you hate your car, too. I mean, we want to know everything. Just like going to the doctor, I guess, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
we can pretend I don't have an issue, but I kind of need to know if I'm on the border having a heart attack. I need to know that. Well,
so again, the plan is we want to know the good, the bad, the ugly, everything. Just like stepping on the scale on New Year's Day. God, this sucks. We've got to make a plan. How are we going to get that to look right? And I guess the plan, though, Dave, is to what we were talking about, avoiding breakdowns and added expense in the new year with your car. It's
definitely
what we want to do.
Yeah. We see things. I did a transfer case for somebody this last week where the transfer case was out of fluid. It had been out of fluid for a year, and it was like a $4,500 bill. It was a luxury car, very expensive repair, and no one ever checked the fluid in the transfer case, but of course they were in all the time for those regular we checked free inspections. But what you're talking about, and I think anxiety comes up for people. They're like, I don't want to go down to the shop and have me tell everything is wrong because then I'm going to feel like I have to buy anything. I'm telling you right now, don't buy anything. Just go pay for the inspection and nothing else. I just want to know what I need to budget for this year, and is there anything that I need to do sooner rather than later? Because January gets really expensive. I mean, I got to lose weight already. I got New Year's resolutions. I had to quit smoking.
I thought you start smoking. You're not doing that this year.
It's January, February. It's stressful because of all the things I'm trying to do for the new year, but just relax about that. Go get an inspection, have it checked out. Last year, your car had 30,000 miles on it, let's say. Well, you went 15,000 miles, up to 45,000 miles. You probably didn't need much. But now we're at 45,000 miles on the car. Well, we're looking at brakes.
Brakes. We're going to
Tires.
we're going to dip into the 60s this year, maybe. So now we're looking at possibly a large maintenance service at 60,000 miles. You started to say brakes before I cut you off. Tires, potentially.
Well, I always hear the guys before us talking about roofs. If you know you need a new roof, don't wait till August to get a new roof, because that's a bad time. And you know what? They tend to charge more money during that time of year. But in auto repair, I always like to see people go in, kind of spring and fall. Temperatures are real mild. There's not any breakdowns. There's not any panic to get your car fixed. That's what we want to do. We want to remove anxiety from the auto repair process. And having a plan, fact, outweighs compulsive thought. People are like, oh, my car is breaking down.
Well, yeah, and you have a plan. I'm going to focus back on the inspection for just a second, though. This is not your quickie, your freebie. This is not the courtesy one. This is, and the reason I say that, Dave and I do Better Business Bureau mediation, if you will, for lack of a better word. We hear, along with a panel of other people. It's not just us. There's 10 or 12 people. And so we get to see a lot of repair shops work orders and stuff. And the common thing that I find is the repair shop that does what they call their courtesy check, that's free, remember? And I don't know the last time you went to work and punched the clock and said, you know what, boss, I'll just come to work an hour early for free today. It doesn't happen. But what I've found is over the time is the inspections that are done for free are usually they have 10 items on them, and it's the 10 items that tire store or that quick lube likes to do: brakes, battery, struts, alignment, tires, some kind of cheap fuel injection cleaning, and some other very low maintenance. We're not looking. The purpose of this inspection is not to go find the easy things that are wrong with your car, what we might call the low-hanging fruit. I want you to help me, and I want to help you. I want to make a plan for you for the year, so when August comes, you don't have a bad radiator because you knew in January that you need to take care of it before it gets hot because it's just seeping now. That's what we want to do. So the biggest step is to find out everything with the car, and I think the second part of it is then, Dave, have a conversation with the shop. Let's prioritize these things and talk about and now make the plan.
And even in that conversation, you say they could tell you, hey, don't even worry about that this year. That's next year's business. That's stuff you got coming up the following year. And depending on where you are in the life cycle of the car, you talked about how in-depth that inspection needs to be. If your car's got 30,000 miles on it, there's not much really going on there. I mean, you can look at the 30,000-mile inspection in your owner's manual, and they may say, lube the door hinges and all these checks. And there's not really much there. Right. Not much needs to happen, but when you start getting up there in the mileage, you got to start planning on more stuff. And then also, people don't really predict when it's time to get a new car because they don't know the condition of their car. Mm-hmm. If you know your condition of your car, you say, okay, well, I know I'm going to need some tires and some cooling system work and that type of thing, but I really only want this car for another year or two. So plan that out so that you're not, all of a sudden you have a big repair on your car. Something big, bad happens. You need a transmission. And you're like, well, I don't really want to fix it. Well, now maybe you're stuck fixing it because the car doesn't work or doesn't move. But you can plan for, I'm going to drive this car out for 2 more years.
Right. And then at that point, too, you can also select a day. From this day forward, I am not going to take care of this car anymore. I'm not going to fix that oil leak. And you find the tipping point. Okay, now's the time to get rid of the car. Or now that I've maintained it to this high level, now I can just ignore it because I don't care what it's worth. It's not going to affect the value. I'm comfortable that it's not going to break down because I've done my due diligence. But we can help you in all the bumper-to-bumper shops. Any of the shops that you find at bumper-to-bumperradio.com will sit down and they'll take the time to go over this stuff with you. That's what we want you to do.
You know what I like about bumper-to-bumperradio.com? I'm going to tell you what I like about it.
What?
Well, I'm on there. I support it.
Right.
I like that. But they're all family-owned businesses. And Matt the other day told me.
We're going there.
He told me, I heard an advertisement from a big chain that said family-owned. And he said, what does family-owned mean? All the shops at Bumper to Bumper Radio, there is an owner on site. And he is working in the business. And if ever you want to talk to anybody about your car and what they found at the shop, and you want somebody more than just your basic counter guy, the owner is there if you really want to talk to somebody. You can find those shops at bumper-to-bumperradio.com if you're looking for a place to get one of these comprehensive vehicle inspections. Mm-hmm. So we've got John and Zach. It looks like George and a couple open lines at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. You're listening to Matt and Dave, your KTAR car guys, on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
There's nothing more important than family. Hi, Kurt Rock for Kurt's Auto Repair. Family owned and operated and bumper-to-bumper radio preferred. We've been taking care of Valley families and their auto care needs with a perfect Better Business record for over 27 years. Come experience the difference our ASE MasterTechs can make for you and your family at Kurt's Auto Repair. Just east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue and Bell Road, or online at mycarhurts.com. Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
We're celebrating, and for good reason. Yep, 2014 marks the 20th anniversary of Kaiko Roofing here in the Valley, and they're proud and humbled to have been trusted for all these years by you, their loyal customers. Year after year, Kaiko has over 50% of their business coming from referrals or repeat customers, and 98% of the customers continue to say they would refer Kaiko to a friend or family member. For that loyalty and trust, we all want to say thank you. Kaiko is proud to install peace of mind by using only the finest materials with their most skilled workers, all backed by the industry's best owner's pride guarantee. If the roof on your home or business is over 10 years old, call Kaiko for a free checkup and financing options. 602-944-4600 or go to KaikoRoofing.com. They're crazy about quality.
Hi, I'm Scott, General Manager with Whitey's Auto Repair here in South Scottsdale. We built a reputation for quality auto service and repair for over 45 years, and our customers have come to trust us for our recommendations. We value that trust, and that's why when it comes to transmissions for the past several decades, we have been recommending Tri-City Transmission. They have yet to disappoint. I feel so strongly about it, I wouldn't go anywhere else. Why would you? Google them online today at TriCityTransmission.com. Go where the pros go. Tri-City Transmission.
This is Bumper to Bumper Radio, KTAR News on 92.3 FM.
Welcome back to Bumper Radio for your New Year's edition. I am Matt Allen along with Dave Riccio, and we are talking about taking care of your car in the new year and how to avoid some breakdowns. And really, aside from the breakdown, Dave, I think it's just the anxiety, the freaking out. You broke down, you're on the freeway. I don't care if it's a radiator or a tire. That's not in your plan. And when you don't have a plan, now you make bad choices.
Knee-jerk reactions are never good.
Never good. So we talked in the first segment about having a plan, getting your car inspected, take it into your shop. And I'm not talking about the freebie. We're going to do a quick courtesy check because you're here getting your oil changed. I'm talking about go over my car. I mean, probe the tailpipe. I mean, we want the whole. You're 50 years old now. You're getting the whole 9 yards look
glove,
over
huh?
on your car. Yeah, your car's getting one in the tailpipe when you come in. So let's look the whole thing over. And really, we want to avoid breakdowns. We want you to have a plan. And Dave, what are some of the things? I made a couple notes here. When a tow truck comes into our parking lot, I can tell you a couple of things. It's usually not our regular customer. Our regular customers just don't break down. Well, but there's things you can avoid.
Batteries are always one of them. These battery testers are predictable. They can kind of predict. I think they're a little overzealous at selling batteries because the battery manufacturer manufactures that thing.
I'm going to stop you right there.
Yeah.
And the other thing I see a lot on batteries, it happens to our customers sometimes. There's a company that sells batteries on the side of the road. I personally don't think they're great batteries. We sell AC Delco, Interstate. Those are good batteries. When you have a battery go bad on the side of the road, it usually doesn't go bad on the side of the road. That's a different problem. More the proper thing would be in the parking lot. Well, those guys aren't going to say, Sally, you've got a bad battery, but you've still got 2 years of warranty on this. Go back to the shop. They're just going to sell you another battery. I see it a lot. I see, Sally, what happened to the battery? We just put a Delco battery in your car a year ago. Yeah, I broke down. I called my road service, and they replaced the battery. Well, you just spent $100 for nothing.
Well, I would the only argument with that is some people have more time than money. Some people have more money than time.
Sure.
So whatever's. But if you don't want to spend money needlessly, that's an excellent thing.
If it got you out of a jam, then it was worth it. But
now, if you're driving down the road and a little red battery light comes on, that means we've probably got an alternator problem. That's something different. So we can talk about that more. But some of the other things you mentioned were overheats. You can definitely avoid overheating. No start situations, definitely avoid that. Tires, failures, in most cases, yes, you can avoid that. You're not going to, you could hit a bolt in the road and get a flat tire. But in most cases, we know tires are when it's time for them to go. And then belt system stuff, that's a big deal. So belt tensioner, pulleys, some sort of component locking up like an alternator.
Yeah, and then you end up broken down, overheated, and there you are. So,
well, we got John, Zach, George, and Alan. We're going to go with John on a Subaru Legacy. How can we help you, John?
Hey, how you doing today, guys?
Fantastic.
all you do is turn your radio down, please.
Radio's down. It's just me on my
Okay.
phone. I'm sorry. Can you hear backlash? Or?
Yeah, we're good now. Go ahead.
Okay, excellent. Now, I'm calling you about listening to your show frequently, and I've got a Subaru, and I'm a guy who I always listens to you, and I always change my oil myself, but I get all the services done at a Subaru dealer, and I've got 274,000 miles on it plus, and the problem is I went in the last time, and I've never had this problem before. I've always had like about a quart of oil. I burn, I run synthetic, about a quart of oil every 5,000 miles that they recommend burn out, so that was no big deal. But now it's burning a quart of oil after I had done. They re-seeded the valves. They've done all this other stuff to it. And now I've got, I'm burning a quart of oil every 2 tankfuls, which is about 700 miles.
Did this oil burning come right after a repair was done?
Yes, sir.
And you said something about a repair to the heads?
Well, no, all they did with the heads, Subarus, or what I've been told by them with the Subaru Outback Legacy, it's common in the 99 version. In 98, they said, was at about it happened at 100,000 miles. It happened again about 210, 220, is we had a problem with all of a sudden your radiator fluid, it started overheating the car.
Yeah, the head gaskets commonly leak on those. So, Dave, what I'm going to wonder if I doubt that they could have caused the problem. We have to find out where the oil is getting burned. Is it getting into the engine from the valve stem seals? Is it getting past a ring on a piston ring? Or is it being sucked in through the crankcase ventilation system? They have oil separators and stuff in there that can get plugged up. So we just need to, that's where Subaru, where you've been taking the car, you just need to sort that out. You said you've been using synthetic, so I'm going to assume you've been using that the life of the car. If you hadn't been, I would maybe be thinking about running a cleaner or something through the rings to on a whim that it might be a ring hung up with carbon, but I kind of doubt it. I'm going to lean towards my wild guess. My WAG is that you've got a valve stem seal problem or something like that.
That's pretty significant oil loss right there.
Yeah.
A quart every 800 miles.
Yeah.
Woo.
And I would think it'd be blowing smoke while you're driving. So, geez, if the time to do that repair, though, if you do have a valve stem issue or something like that, is when they're doing the head gaskets. Now, when we do the head gaskets on the Subarus, I know the dealer, they take them apart and they put them back together the same day. They're done. We take the heads out. We send them to a machine shop. We have a valve job done. We have them milled. This is the complete repair, not just to get it done in a day. I'm not saying that that's what they did, so don't get me wrong, but that, again, who knows?
275,000 miles proves that you can get a lot of mileage out of a car if you just maintain it. It sounds like this guy's been on top of his vehicle. You don't have to throw them away all the time. You can make a vehicle last. Just maintain it. Keep up with it. You know that some maintenance and repairs are going to happen, but you don't have to. This guy may have a $1,000 or $2,000 repair coming. You don't have to fix a $2,000 problem with $40,000 in a new car. So the math sometimes of fixing an old car a lot of times prove out. We're going to go with Zach in Mesa on a 97 Toyota Rav4. How can we help you, Zach?
Hey, guys. Good morning.
Good morning.
So I have a weird issue. In the summers, it never seems to happen, but it's been happening probably for 2 years now. In the winters, it seems like when the car is cold, when it's not warmed up, and I go to get on the thruway, at about 60 to 70 miles an hour, I notice that the car is not shifting properly. But when I do let the car heat up, the issue seems to go away.
So when you say you let the car heat up, you let it run in the driveway for, say, 10 minutes, or you've already got the car heated up before you put it in the situation where you have the symptom?
Right. Basically, anything before, the 60 to 70 mile an hour range, if I'm driving for 10 minutes or so, and then I get on the thruway, and get up to that gear, it seems to be fine. But if I'm if I don't wait and the car is cold, I seem to notice the issue.
Okay.
Well, I was a little bit between reading texts and halfway listening to his questions, but I think he's talking about shifting issues based off of temperature. And on Toyotas, they're very much influenced. The transmissions are influenced by the operating temperature of the vehicle. So your Toyota, you're driving out of the neighborhood in the morning. Gosh, it seems like it's revving really high. What's happening is the computer is not shifting the gears because it wants to get that engine up to operating temperature as quickly as possible. So we'll see that you're going to be driving down the road and it's not actually going all the way into fourth or into overdrive. Well, because it's still working on warming up the vehicle. So if we got a temperature issue, whether it be a wire, whether it can be a computer, we're not telling the transmission to go ahead and make that upshift. So I do see that repair in the wintertime come Toyota season.
Well, I guess the other thing I would be thinking about, Dave, and maybe a simple, not a simple, but an indicator of whether he has a temperature issue, is look at your temperature gauge. I kind of experimented with this in my truck. I have a 2010 Toyota Tundra. And I know I tell people you should have heat after about 2 or 3 minutes. Well, my car the other day took a little bit longer than that. So I think after about 5 minutes, maybe you let the car warm up for a minute, and then you get on the freeway or you get on the road and you start to drive the car. Within 5 minutes, you should have heat coming out of the dash. And if you don't, then maybe you have a thermostat issue or something that could be contributing to your transmission problem.
That's a common code I keep seeing here this season is thermostat not opening. So anyway, when we come back, we're taking more phone calls at 602-277-5827. You're listening to Matt and Dave on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi, this is Greg LaFonsi of Automotive Diagnostic Specialties. Yes, we realize this is a long name to remember, but most of our customers know us simply as ADS. ADS is a family-owned and operated, state-of-the-art, full-service automotive repair facility with an expert staff that has helped us earn the coveted AAA Top Shop Award as one of the best shops in the nation for the second straight year in a row. We are honored, humbled, and dedicated to providing the same level of service to you and your family. We will always strive to get it done right the first time so that you'll leave with a smile on your face after every repair or service. ADS is a bumper-to-bumper radio approved shop with a long name but a short, simple goal. Customer satisfaction is our number one priority and everything else takes care of itself. Just east of I-10 on Chandler Boulevard, ADS proudly serves Ahwatukee, Chandler, Tempe, Gilbert, and Southeast Phoenix. Stop by or check us out at automotivediagnosticspecialties.com today.
The 2015 Southwest Section PGA Golf Pass is now on sale at a special early bird price of just $115. The pass includes a free round of golf plus discounts on food and beverage, equipment and instruction in more than 60 participating courses. And if you buy and register your pass in November, you'll be entered to win a new Ping G25 driver. Get your Southwest Section Golf Pass today at theteatimestore.com and enjoy great golf savings and the chance to win a new Ping driver.
It sounds like they've just had the accurate automotive experience. We're family owned and operated and have served the Mesa, Tempe, Gilbert communities for over 22 years. We focus on building long-lasting relationships and, oh yeah, listening to you so that we can understand, meet, and exceed your expectations. One location, 14 bays, 88 years of automotive expertise, and a passionate commitment to customer service and excellence. My name is Lee Weatherby, and I approve this message because it's true. We love what we do, and we want to do it for you. Accurate Automotive.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio here along with Matt Allen, and we are helping you with your car, or at least trying to, pretending to, whatever it is we do. If you got questions, give us a call at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. If we don't know the answer, we will make something up, and you will never know it. I'm teasing. We really won't. We do know a lot. You can trust we know a lot. So I am so glad the holidays are over. The holidays in an auto repair shop I think is the worst time of the year because everyone's off and it's a good time to get the car in.
Well, it's weird. I mean, everybody needs that emergency oil change 5 minutes before they're going out of town. Or nobody wants to come in, so you don't even know how to staff. I mean, at our shop, it's crazy, or it's what do you do?
Well, we had people off because they wanted to be on vacation, plus we're short on working days and all that stuff, and then everybody felt like that. We're right next to the college, so what happens is everyone comes in, drops their car off before they head out of town. They fly home. So we were busy. December is our busiest month of the year, and I am so glad it's over. I'm just relieved, even after Christmas Day, because there's all the expectation and buying the right gifts and all that stuff. And when it's all over, I'm just so relieved. And people were nice again the day after Christmas.
I know.
I was impressed.
The tension level goes down. Everybody's smiling again. It's good.
Well, we got Alan, George, James, and Pauline. We are going to go with Pauline next. Hey, Pauline, you're on Bumper to Bumper Radio. How can we help you?
I just need to know if you can refer me to someone that can open a tailgate. My daughter put my Christmas tree in it, and it will not open.
Yeah, Pauline, where are you in Glendale?
43rd.
43rd Avenue in Glendale?
Yeah.
Go stop by Dave's Car Care, 51st Avenue in Peoria.
Okay.
They'll probably be able to get it open for you. If you're really, really nice to them and smile and say thank you and please, that might even just do it. What happens on those is there's usually an access panel. And it's just like your door rod on the car door. There's the handle, and then there's two rods that go to either side of the tailgate to undo the latches. And the little plastic clip right there probably broke. So half the battle, which is usually easy, is just getting the tailgate open, and then the next one, more than likely, is replacing that little tab that holds that linkage together. Not really a big deal at all.
Thanks so much for the call, Pauline. We are going to go with George in Mesa. It looks like, man, I can't read the screen from here. Man, I got to get some glasses.
I know. Here you can have my readers, Dave. George has got a Mitsubishi Lancer Rally Art. Sounds fancy. What's up, George?
Hi there. I have a problem. I've always had clutch cars since, manual transmission since '74. This year, my Rally Art, I have a condition where if you shift gears, the car over revs and comes back as you're shifting or going through the gears. What's happening? Because I'm not familiar with that.
So you're letting off the gas, you're depressing the clutch, and as you go to make the shift, the engine continues to rev. Is this happen under like a high RPM?
No.
So just normal?
It can be from 2 to 3,
mm-hmm.
and it'll over rev and come right back.
Okay. Well, you don't have a transmission or a clutch problem, I'm sure. You've probably got an idle control problem. There's and I don't think that car has an electronic throttle body, meaning fly-by-wire. There's going to be on yours, there's going to be a cable connecting your accelerator cable to the butterfly or the throttle that opens. So what happens is there's an idle control valve. When you step on the gas, that idle control valve should open all the way, or most of the way, and then what happens are when you let off the gas now, that's going to slowly bring the car down to idle instead of just snapping it closed and causing the car to choke off. So what can happen is those passages get dirty with carbon and gook and soot from the crankcase system and the EGR valve. That could be the issue. The valve itself could be bad. It may not even be what I'm talking about. So something's causing the idle to hang open. Nothing to do with the clutch or the transmission.
I was going to the clutch. That's what I was thinking. It's funny how we come from our own paradigms. I'm ASC certified in transmissions. Now Matt's a master technician, so
that's right.
I bow when I come in here. I'm like, we're not worthy. We're not worthy. But my specialty is transmission. So I was thinking, I'm shifting. I push the clutch in. I shift into second gear. I let the clutch out, and I give it gas, and it takes a second to catch. So it goes up a little bit, and then the clutch grabs, and then we're into second gear, and then into third gear, and it maybe gets worse as we go up in the gears. So that's what I was hearing, but then I was thinking of what you're hearing too. We got an idle speed issue.
Okay, so if it's not an idle speed issue, so Dave, what you're talking about is possibly a clutch slipping, and that's also fairly easy to diagnose. You can do that yourself.
Real easy. Now, in the old days, we would just go, if we wanted to check to see if the clutch was slipping, we could be at a stop, have the car running, put the car in third gear, and just let the clutch out quickly. The engine should die almost instantly, right now. But if it doesn't, it's because that clutch is slipping. So that's kind of a quick parking lot type of test for, is my clutch bad? The other thing we do is sometimes I'll go park on a hill and put it in gear and just push the clutch in a little bit to see where it starts to release. And if it's right there at the top, that's telling me I maybe have a clutch worn out problem.
Interesting. So now I always check the clutch. I'm just going to go drive and maybe get the thing kind of wound up a little bit, second or third gear, and apply the brake and go full throttle and see if I'm going to raise the RPMs, see if I'm going to slip the clutch. The other thing is to just go wide open throttle about 7,000 RPMs and dump the clutch and see what happens. don't do that. Well, there'll be pieces of clutch and transmission everywhere. But
well, George, thanks for the call. We're going to go with Alan in Mesa on a 2007 Nissan Titan. Alan, how can we help you? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Well, thanks. It should be a fairly simple thing. It has to do with my fan. When I turn on the button to turn on the fan, it comes on high. It doesn't go from low up to high. When I turn it off, it's off.
So
it's just kind of a nuisance, and I don't know who to take it to get it looked at.
So it's all or nothing is what I'm hearing, Alan, right?
That's right.
Okay.
And the dealer, I shouldn't say that probably, but they say it's about $800. They have to raise up the hood and replace everything up underneath.
Okay. Well, that's one of those things that everything, I don't know what everything means in that case. But your question was why or what's happening and where do I take it? So go to bumpertobumperradio.com. You're going to find a couple shops in Mesa. One comes to the top of my head is Mesa Auto Works.
Tempe, which is not quite Mesa, but you've got Joel at Arizona Imports. He's very, very good at Nissan, so that's a possibility.
He was the Nissan dealer guy years ago. And it sounds like you're going to either have a switch that is bad, the dial switch or whatever lever indicator there is, or a resistor. We know the fan works. We know the circuit works. So it's just a matter of which switch is likely bad. And I've seen crazier things. It could be $800, but who knows? It's definitely worth checking out one of the guys that we mentioned.
602-277-5827. Thanks for the call, Alan. We're going to go with James in El Mirage. He's got a 2010 Dodge Grand Caravan. How can we help you today, James?
So just real quick question on my heater. When I get up to speed and get up to operating temperature, the heater works fine. But when I stop at a red light or park for a few minutes, the heater cuts out and only blows cool air. Is this a standard issue on that type of vehicle, or is there something that I probably need to take it into a shop for?
Well, that sounds kind of weird, though. So the car will produce nice hot air while driving.
Yeah.
Right? But you sit still. That's weird.
Maybe low on coolant or something. We're not getting good flow to that heater core sitting and idling at a light.
I was kind of thinking low on coolant. So, yeah, you're going to want to make sure with a cold radiator, not hot, you want to open up and make sure the radiator is full, and then make sure the overflow bottle on the side, if it's that type of system, and it should be on your Caravan, make sure that also is filled to the appropriate level. But because your engine is not going to heat up and cool down rapidly like that. The other thing I'm thinking is maybe we don't really have a heater problem. We have a heater symptom. It's a control issue. Maybe I would have liked to hear him say when I step on the gas, I get cold air. Kind of like your air conditioner, it goes out the defrost. But
I'm thinking 2010. I'm thinking it's pretty electronic in there. You know, the other thing, too, we mentioned it earlier. It's that time of year where we're seeing that diagnostic trouble code that comes up, engine cool too long.
Right.
Where there's a thermostat in your engine that is closed until the engine comes up to operating temperature, then it's going to open. Well, if that's not opening, well, the engine's it's not going to get up to operating temperature. So, you know, rolling down the road, we're working the motor.
Well, it's actually stuck open is what's happening. It's not getting, but he's getting good heat.
Oh, yeah,
so
stuck open. I told you backwards.
I think we have a control problem.
Yeah.
So
I'll go with it.
Okay. James, El Mirage, you've got, again, bumpertobumperradio.com. Anybody looking for a shop, you have a question, even if you want to send us an email. Now, for topics, we always want to know what you want us to talk about. So if you have a question or a scenario, if you want to send us an email, we will certainly use those for on-air information. But if you have an immediate question, you've got your hair on fire, you've got a problem with the car, you want to find the closest bumper-to-bumper radio shop near you and give them a call. They'll help you.
I happen to have one of those emails from Suzanne for Email of the Week. She says, I have a 2008 Honda Accord. My mechanic says my brakes have 30% left on them. Should I be concerned? Should I replace them now or wait? What do I do? 30%, Matt. What's that mean?
Well, it just makes me want to scream. If I had hair, I'd pull it out, but it's all gone already. this beautiful baldness. But, 30%. What does that mean? I bet if I gave people 10 glasses of water that all had the same amount in them, they'd all tell me a different percentage of full. If I gave everybody a ruler, marked in millimeters or 30 seconds of an inch, everybody would have the same answer. So I don't like to see someone say, you've got 30%, because that is so subjective.
Well, let's say let's say she does have 30%. So they measured it and they said, okay, this pad comes with 6 30 seconds new, and now it has 3 30 seconds left. So they can give her a percentage. I mean, I've heard that around. How concerned should she be? Well, the question I say is, how often are is a car getting checked and people are pulling the tires off of it? Because 30%, I don't know how long it took to get to 30%. If it's got 60,000 miles on it, it's at 30%. Well, it took an awful long time to get to that.
Right. So, I mean, fact or fiction, should I do them now? Should I do them later? That's the conversation. This is a whole segment, Dave. This is a whole show, because if you're going to your regular shop, the last time you were in and they memorialized when they checked the brakes, and now today you're getting down to 30% or maybe 30 seconds. I guess the barometer for our shop is, if you're not going to make it to your next oil change, we should do them now or schedule you. I will let you wait. If your brake rotors are already garbage and we know you need rotors, I might say, you know what, Bob?
Drive it till it squeals.
Go ahead, because you're not risking much. You're not going to lose the brakes and you're going to die and kill your whole family and all that stuff. It's not going to happen. Don't fall for those tactics. But
you sell brakes like Tommy Boy.
Yeah, right.
Please, for your family's sake, buy a quality part from someone like me.
No. So you just don't need them, and it's important for the inspection. Have it in an inch, and then you can. And after 2 inspections, you should be able to get pretty close to when you're going to need those. And your shop should be telling you when you need them. You shouldn't have to wonder.
Well, we got Scott and Ryan, and maybe time for one more at 602-277-5827. You're listening to Matt and Dave, Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi, I'm Scott, General Manager with Whitey's Auto Repair here in South Scottsdale. We built a reputation for quality auto service and repair for over 45 years, and our customers have come to trust us for our recommendations. We value that trust, and that's why when it comes to transmissions for the past several decades, we have been recommending Tri-City Transmission. They have yet to disappoint. I feel so strongly about it, I wouldn't go anywhere else. Why would you? Google them online today at tricitytransmission.com. Go where the pros go. Tri-City Transmission.
We're celebrating, and for good reason. Yep, 2014 marks the 20th anniversary of Kaiko Roofing here in the Valley, and they're proud and humbled to have been trusted for all these years by you, their loyal customers. Year after year, Kaiko has over 50% of their business coming from referrals or repeat customers, and 98% of the customers continue to say they would refer Kaiko to a friend or family member. For that loyalty and trust, we all want to say thank you. Kaiko is proud to install peace of mind by using only the finest materials with their most skilled workers, all backed by the industry's best owner's pride guarantee. If the roof on your home or business is over 10 years old, call Kaiko for a free checkup and financing options. 602-944-4600 or go to KaikoRoofing.com. They're crazy about quality.
Hi. This is Greg LaFonsi of Automotive Diagnostic Specialties. Long name, right? But we have a short, simple goal. Customer satisfaction is our number one priority, and everything else takes care of itself. Bumper to Bumper Radio approved. ADS is a family-owned and operated state-of-the-art repair facility that has an expert staff that for the second straight year has earned the coveted AAA Top Shop Award as one of the best shops in the nation. Just east of I-10 on Chandler Boulevard. Find us at automotivediagnosticspecialties.com.
Few cities are as car-centric as Phoenix, and this is the show that'll help you to better understand that machine you depend on to get around the valley. It's Bumper to Bumper Radio. KTAR News on 92.3 FM and the KTAR app for Android and iPhone.
Welcome back to Bumper Radio in this new year. In this new year, we're not going to have any vehicle breakdowns, and we're going to do that by taking our car to the shop, having a comprehensive vehicle inspection, not the freebie where they check all the things that they want to sell to you, but we want to know everything about the car from bumper to bumper, no play on words there. And then we come up with a plan and a budget, and we have a relationship with the shop that we're working with so they can tell us, okay, which ones I got to prioritize this. Which one should I be doing in March? Which one should I be doing in May? And hey, maybe you just had a flush last year and you want to get it all done in January, and get it all done in January. But what needs to be on my calendar? What's good now? What's coming up? So we are going to have a plan for auto repair, and we're also going to have a plan for how long we keep cars. You know, that's one thing that people never talk about. You know, how long am I going to run cars for? Put some sort of science to it. You know, people say, well, I ask them, how long are you going to keep this car? Well, until it dies. Well, it just died. You want to still keep it? You know, if you're at a transmission shop, we could be at that point.
Oh, yeah, but until it dies. But are you going to kill it? Are you going to murder it prematurely? There's no sense. You don't have to have a car die. That's the whole point. Why would you want to drive it till it dies? Then it's got no value to trade in or to sell to somebody else. Keep it, take care of it, maintain the value, and you keep getting your bang for your buck all the way through the whole life cycle of the car with you.
Well, up first this segment, we're going to go with Ryan in Glendale. He's got a Hyundai Sonata. How can we help you, Ryan?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome.
My car, I think I got myself a lemon. I jumped on Craigslist, kind of an impulse buy. I wanted to get something a little newer than I had, a 2000 Hyundai Elantra. Great car. I just was losing the regulators in the windows one by one, and with the weather changing so much, it was getting kind of annoying. So before I replaced the regulators and started working on that car, I picked this one up. First off, the power steering pump went in day 3, which the belt runs to the alternator and the water pump, so naturally the entire car shut down on me. I had it replaced on the spot by a family mechanic. He said everything seems good in the car, but I have some pretty serious squeaking on the front. It happens when I kind of take off. It happens when I'm hitting speed bumps. The vehicle feels like the suspension is nice. When I hit bumps and I'm driving along, it's a smooth vehicle, but I have some pretty severe squeaking. Any recommendations as far as maybe a lube? Is it a chassis? Could it be my struts?
Well, it could be a number of different things. It could be anything in the front that moves. But everything in the front has a rubber bushing on it. And we tend to, as the weather starts to cool down, we hear more of these things creaking and happening, when it's cold, and you don't hear them as much when it's warm. Well, but I can also tell you that they didn't make that noise when the car was new and cold as well. So there's some stuff there that is wearing. And so you hear us talking about the vehicle inspection earlier. You are the perfect case for a vehicle inspection. There's the people that just got the car, or maybe they just didn't get it. Maybe they bought it with 40 or 50,000 miles on it, and now it's got 90,000 miles on it. You got to establish a baseline, and you haven't done that with this car yet. The family mechanic looked at it and said, everything looks good. Well, everything he noticed looks good.
Right, but it needs to be looked at, and especially that car is 13 years old. So we say the older the vehicle's been, the deeper we need to look on that inspection to prevent this stuff. I think it was funny he said window regulators, and I don't think that's a lemon car. That's just every car, and I think Hewlett-Packard manufactures window regulators because they're like a disposable. You just go get new window regulators all the time.
I think that was on the other car, but the other inspection that we want to have people do, and it's almost the same inspection, is a pre-purchase inspection. Nitpick that car for everything. I'm not saying you need to fix all this stuff, but then what that does, that gives you a tool to go back to the seller, and it's a bartering tool. It needs this and this. These are bad, or I'm going to need this, or whatever the case is. But gosh, now I forgot what his original question was. The creaking. Lubricant, if you wanted to try lubing one item at a time to try and narrow it down, I would use silicone spray. You can use a WD-40 or something like that, but if you use a petroleum-based product on rubber, the two don't mix. Good. We use silicone on door trim, on bushings, on such. You might have to use some WD-40 once in a while, and probably no harm, no foul, because if you find the bad one anyway. But you can, so.
Thanks for the call, Ryan. We're going to go with Scott in Peoria on a 1997 Ford Expedition. Sounds like he's got a fuel pressure question. How can we help you, Scott, with your fuel pressure?
Yeah, guys, thanks a lot. Just recently, when I try to start the vehicle after it's been sitting, say, overnight, it seems to crank a lot longer than normal. Normally, the car will start within the first maybe 3 to 5 seconds max. Now it's taken maybe double that. When the car is warm, or the engine's warm, I don't have that problem. In other words, if I just drive it to the store, come right back out after a while, it fires right up real fast. What I'm wondering is, on the fuel pump, is there some type of a one-way valve that keeps the pressure to the engine? And I've already checked the electrical because 5,000 miles ago, I had a complete tune-up done on all the plugs, the injectors, the coils on top of each plug, so everything's been taken care of in that respect. I'm looking at a fuel problem here.
Probably are. I mean, Dave, you want to answer? I know you were pointing to yourself. I'll let you have a shot at it if you want.
Well, I'll answer half the question. I would suggest that we're losing fuel pressure prime overnight as the vehicle sits. That's one possibility. We could have a possibility at the other end. I'll let you talk about that.
Which one? What are you talking about? Well, okay, so you could be losing fuel pressure.
And so one way to check that, don't cut me off there, Nitro.
You pointed to me.
Is that, when you first turn your key on to the on position, not where you're actually hitting the starter, you usually hear a little eep noise from the back of the vehicle. And that's the actual fuel system priming itself so that it's gets up to full pressure so it can start. Well, you can do that a couple times. So you keys off, turn it onto that position, turn it back off, turn it back on, and you can let it pressure up and then see if it fires right away, even if the vehicle's been sitting overnight. Does that problem go away? So that's a quick check, but I figured you were going to talk about something on the other end leaking down.
You're right, Dave. So what you were saying, though, is cycle the key on, off. 3 times the car starts up, pretty good indication of fuel pressure problem. The other place you can lose fuel pressure, and I was going to ask how his fuel economy was and such, but on that Explorer, I am pretty sure very easy to get to under the hood. Expedition on either side of the engine at the fuel rail, there's a vacuum hose going to a little dome-shaped port, and that's the fuel pressure regulator. Sometimes the rubber diaphragm in those break. So one test is just to unplug that vacuum line off the fuel pressure regulator and see if it's got fuel in it. If it doesn't have fuel, good. That's a good thing. You don't want any fuel in there. If it does, you've got a bad regulator, and that's where your pressure loss could be at, if it is, in fact, a fuel pressure problem in the first place.
Well, thank you for joining us. If you're looking for a friendly, honest, competent shop who's going to spend some time with you and give you this comprehensive vehicle inspection that is a paid inspection, you can find one at bumpertobumperradio.com. Don't feel like you got to buy anything, but you just got to make a plan for what you're going to do this year. While you're there at bumpertobumperradio.com, be sure to like us on Facebook. Thanks, Bree, for running the dial. She's under the weather today, so she looks half dead. Sorry, Bree. Couldn't help it. Anyhow, remember never to text and drive, and have a safe 2015. We'll talk to you later.
There's nothing more important than family. Hi, Kurt Rock for Kurt's Auto Repair. Family owned and operated and bumper-to-bumper radio preferred. We've been taking care of Valley families and their auto care needs with a perfect Better Business record for over 27 years. Come experience the difference our ASE Master Techs can make for you and your family at Kurt's Auto Repair. Just east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue and Bell Road, or online at mycarhurts.com. Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurtz.
Thank you, Arizona golf fans. Thanks to you, the Waste Management Phoenix Open is about to top $100 million in charitable giving. For all the birdies made by the PGA Tour pros, it's really Arizona's charities that sit atop our leaderboard. So stand up and take a bow as the Thunderbirds and Thunderbirds charities thank you for your incredible support. Celebrate this milestone at the Waste Management Phoenix Open, January 26th through February 1st at TPC Scottsdale. Visit WMPhoenixOpen.com.
World class and in your own backyard. If you live or work in downtown Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Service is just around the corner at 7th Street in Virginia. And for over 19 years, they've been recognized as one of the best auto repair shops in the country. Voted Best Auto Repair by AZ Central, A+ rated by the BBB, 2-year 24,000-mile warranty, and complimentary transportation to and from your home or office. Virginia Auto. They're serious about service. See for yourself. VirginiaAutoservice.com. Join us for everything automotive on Bumper to Bumper Radio with Dave Riccio and Matt Allen, the KTAR Car Guys, every Saturday, 11 to noon on KTAR News 92.3 FM. Winter is finally here. Is your car ready? Whether it's snow up north, rain in the valley, or 75 degrees, Dave and Matt got you covered. And remember, 24/7, there's BumperToBumperRadio.com.